Mindful Life Practice community.
So if everyone wants to just start by coming to a comfortable seated position on your mat, cross-legged if that's comfortable for you. If you want to have your legs out, by all means, um, switch over to that. Again, whatever works for you. And we'll start by resting our hands on our knees, palms facing up. And we're just going to start with just some natural, relaxing breaths. Nothing forced, nothing thought about, just sink into your seated position. Try and put everything from the day to the side. I have a few quotes to share with you. The first one noting that balance is not something you find, it's something you create. So hopefully with some of the tools I can share with you tonight, you can help create a bit more balance in your life. And yoga is not about touching your toes, it's about what you learn on the way down. And I like that one because I've certainly found that when I started my practice a year and a half ago, I couldn't really touch my toes. And I've found a lot as I've gotten myself to that point. So resting into this pose, we're going to start with a breathing exercise called Nadi Shodhana, also called alternate nostril breathing. Those of you who've been doing my class for a couple of weeks, same thing we've been doing start of every class. You're going to take your right hand and with your index finger and your middle finger, you're just going to place them between your eyebrows. And then you're going to be using your thumb to close your right nostril and your ring finger to close your left nostril. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a cycle where we breathe in through one nostril and out through the other, then back in through that nostril and out. And this just helps to calm your breath down, bring your heart rate down, hopefully just bring a bit of stillness after what was probably a crazy day for everybody, it seems, around. Hopefully this helps just set a nice tone for the start of the class. So I'm going to lead you through, and it's going to be to a count of 4. So everyone sort of have a nice exhale. And then we're going to inhale through the right, placing our ring finger, closing our left nostril. So breathing in through our right nostril for 1, 2, 3, 4. Then closing our right nostril and breathing out through the left for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in through the left for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the left nostril, opening the right, out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then in through the right for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the right, opening the left, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then in through the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close left, open right. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the right side, open the left. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale right, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you can do 2 more cycles on your own breath. So a cycle is up through the right and then down through the left. And when you've had enough and through those few cycles, just return to the seated position and just return your breath to sort of a natural rhythm, not putting any pressure on yourself to hit certain timing or anything like that. Just relax. And once everyone's settled in there, let's lift our hands up above our heads. And then we're going to do a side bend. So dropping your right arm over to the right and stretching your left arm over your head. And then back up to center and dropping to the left, stretching your right arm over your head. And then back up to the middle. And then bring your hands to heart center. And then let's lift up above our heads. Hands to heart center. And one more big sweeping. Feel yourself reaching all the way up to the ceiling. And then we're going to twist to the right. So placing your left hand on your right knee and gazing over your right shoulder. Feeling a nice stretch through I'm feeling it sort of along my right side, all the way down from my high back to my lower back. And then release that twist and come up through the middle and repeat that on the other side. So right hand on your left knee and over your left shoulder. And you'll probably notice that one side gets a bit more of a twist than the other. Could be because of where your laptop sits during the day, or if you're on your phone or anything like that. It's going to sometimes create an imbalance between the neck muscles and the shoulder muscles on each side. And then back up to the middle. And hands to heart center. And one thing we're going to do before we move into some more movement, I have to move my dog out of the way, is we're just going to do a bit of a forward fold. So bringing your feet together and then lifting your arms above your head. And we're just going to forward fold. Now, if this is as far as you get, that's great. Just go in your comfort level. If you want, as I say every week, if you want to push it a little bit further, feel free to do that on your exhale and just stretch your arms out. And just nice, relaxing breath as you're opening things up. Now, I have my feet in a butterfly position, but if you want them straight out or if you'd like them in a seated, whatever works for you. Just 2 more breaths here. And at the end of your exhale, rise up. No worries, Rebecca. I'll watch for you if you want to connect again. I'll keep an eye out. Okay, and now we're going to transition to a tabletop. So you want your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And we're just going to start with some cat-cows. So to do the cow, we're going to drop our belly down and lift our head up, arching our back. And then exhale into cat, arching our back up into sort of a frightened cat pose. And then back to cow, lifting your head, dropping your belly. And back to cat. And again, dropping your belly, lifting your head up. And then back to a neutral position. We're going to start by extending our right leg back behind us and our left arm forward. And just holding a nice long line from your toes all the way to your fingers. And then on the exhale, you're going to bring your elbow to your knee and inhale back out straight. And let's do that a few more times. Inhale out straight. You can flex your foot. That often helps keep your hips in line with each other. You want to try not to let your hip splay up. And bring in elbow to knee. And a nice long stretch here. And then we're going to land our left hand. And we're just going to pivot our foot off our mat and just come up into this low warrior 2. And we're going to drop your right hand onto your right thigh and reach over. And then back to warrior 2. And then bring both hands back to the mat. Bring your left foot back onto the mat. And we'll do that on the other side. So extending our left leg out and our right arm nice and long. Again, flexing the foot, trying to keep your hips in line with each other. And then on the exhale, bring your elbow to knee. Again, elbow to knee. And let's do that 2 more times. And one more. And then drop your right hand, and then you're going to pivot your right foot off the mat. You're going to come up into this low warrior two. Drop your left hand onto your left thigh. Reach over. And then bring your hands down to the mat. And just get comfortable in here. And then we're going to tuck our toes and lift up into our first downward dog. And here you're just going to pedal your feet out, stretching the backs of your calves, your hamstrings, stretching things out. And if at any time you're not comfortable in downward dog, feel free to drop your knees, go into child's pose, whatever works for you. And after the next breath, we are going to hop or step our feet up to meet our hands into a forward fold. We're going to inhale, halfway lift to have a nice flat back. And then exhale, fold down. And then inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center. And then let's just rest in our mountain pose for a moment or two. Now we're going to be doing some balancing poses later on in the class. And you want to make sure that you have a nice foundation in your feet. Now, a mountain, you have your feet sort of hip width distance apart. You want to make sure that you can feel your big toe, you can feel your baby toe, you can feel your heel. You've got a nice foundation all around for everything. So from our mountain pose, we're going to lift our arms up above our head and forward fold all the way down. Wherever your hands reach is great. If you have a block nearby and you want to rest your hand on a block, go right ahead. Then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then when we rise up this time, we're going to bend our knees into a chair position. Holding this chair for a few breaths. Now, your feet can be close together. They can be apart. Do what feels right for your knees and for your legs. What you don't want is you want to make sure you can always see your toes. You never want your knees to be further forward than your toes, because that could cause some injury. And you want your arms to be up close to your ears and your head looking up. And at the end of the next exhale, rise up, hands above your head, hands to heart center, and down. And we're going to do that sequence one more time. So lifting your hands all the way up and a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees into your chair. Only this time, we're going to bring our hands together while we're in our chair position. And we're just going to twist a little bit. So bring your right elbow to your left knee and looking over your left shoulder. And then come back to the middle. And we'll do that on the other side. So lifting your left elbow to touch your right knee and gazing over your right shoulder. And back to the middle. And then rising up into your mountain pose, hands above your head, hands to heart center, and down. And just catch your breath there. We're going to move into a little bit of a low flow. So lifting up, hands up above your head, forward fold. And then from your forward fold, we're going to step our feet back into a nice plank position. Now, your knees can be up, or feel free to put them down and untuck your toes, whichever is comfortable for you. Try not to have a dog in the way. So from our plank, we're going to lower ourselves down to the ground, elbows straight back, lift up into a cobra or an upward dog, and then lower down and then transition through a table, and then all the way up to a downward dog. Again, pedaling your feet out a little bit. Hopefully the second downward dog of the class feels a bit better than the first. And you're going to lift your right leg up all the way to the sky for a three-legged dog. And then we're going to bring that right knee through and place it between our hands. And if you need to move it with your hands, that's absolutely fine. And let's just rock back and forth a little bit over this right knee, stretching out through our hip flexors on the left. And then lower your left knee down. And lift your hands up above your head. And then down to rest on your knee. Now, in terms of balance here, what you want to have is like two railroad tracks. You certainly don't want your right leg in front of your left. You want to have enough width there that you're nice and stable. Excellent. So now we're going to lift our arms up and open them into a cactus position. So like this. Okay. And then we're going to bring our right elbow underneath our left and clasp our hands, or you can clasp shoulders. So this is our eagle arms pose. And the full eagle position has your legs doing some stuff, but we're just going to do the arms for now. And then if you're feeling stable here, feel free to do a few little curves up and down, almost like a cat-cow, but in this eagle arm position. Excellent. And let's come back up and open our arms. And then let's do that on the other side. So bringing your left elbow underneath your right, holding your hands up high, trying to keep your elbows as high. The higher your elbows are, the more stretch you're going to feel through your shoulder blades. And then we're going to curve forward, over and up and over and up. And then one more time, over and up. And then opening your arms up above. And then we're going to bring our hands down to frame our foot, and we're going to lean back over that front leg. So bringing your right leg nice and straight, and then you're curving your body over it. You should feel a nice stretch all the way down your hamstrings and down your calf. And then bring your body weight back forward again. Tuck your toes. And then we're going to bring our right leg back. And then we're going to lift all the way up to a downward dog from our table there. Again, pedaling your feet a little bit. And then we're going to do three-legged dog on the other side. So lifting your left leg up. And then bringing your knee all the way through between your hands. And then just rocking back and forth. Back and forth. Again, just feeling that nice stretch. In this case, it should be through your right hip flexor. And then also you should feel some nice stretches in your left thigh. And then lower your knee. And then bring your hands to rest on your left knee. Again, adjusting the width of your foot, your left foot and your right knee, just to make sure you have some stability. And then we're going to lift our arms up above our heads. And then here we're just going to flow with our breath. So we're going to exhale and bring our arms down behind us. And then inhale, lifting up. And exhale, lifting down, arms behind you. And up. And then one more flow, bringing your arms back. And then up. And then again, we're going to do the same stretch for our hamstrings. So we're going to place our hands on either side of our foot and then straighten that left leg and just fold over that left leg. Feel free to keep a slight bend in that left leg if a straight leg is just too much. It's quite a strong pose to be in for any length of time. And bringing your hands back forward, tucking your right toe, bringing your left foot back, And then we're gonna just go through a little flow. So knees can be up or down. You're gonna lower yourself down and lift up to up dog or cobra, back down, and then through table and all the way up to downward dog. And let's just hang out in downward dog for 3 cycles of breath. And at the next exhale, you're just going to walk your hands back to meet your feet in a nice forward fold. You can grab opposite elbows here and just hang out in this relaxing, hopefully relaxing fold. If it's not relaxing, feel free to stand up at any time. And then letting go of those opposite elbows, we're going to inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fold, and then inhale all the way up. Bring your hands to heart center and then down by your side for mountain. Now we're going to move into a little bit of a standing flow. So you can take a few steps up from the back of your mat. And from our mountain pose, we're going to step our right foot forward and lift our left heel. So we're in a nice crescent lunge. And again, like we did when we were on the ground, just make sure you check your distance, your width distance between your left and your right leg, making sure that you're nice and stable. And then lift your arms up above your head. And then we're going to open into warrior two. So land your left foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, and your right foot is facing forward. You want to try and have a nice straight line, keeping your knee over your foot. It's very easy for the knee to fall in. Try and keep it in line with the foot as best you can. And then lining your heel up. If you drew a line back from your heel, it should sort of reach between your arch and your heel of your left foot, the heel of your right foot. And then gazing over your right middle finger, do a nice strong warrior two. And then we're going to reverse the warrior. So dropping your left hand, touch your left thigh, reaching your right arm over your head, and then back to warrior two. And then we're going to rest our right forearm on our right thigh and stretch into this extended side angle. And back up to warrior two and reverse. And then forward, and you can just try and flow as if you're either in the water or in the breeze, flowing back and forth. Excellent. And now here, if you have your block nearby, just try and place it close to your right foot in front of it. And from our warrior two, we're going to straighten the front leg and just bring your back leg in a little bit. And then we're going to lean forward. And then you're going to drop your right hand down close to your ankle into a triangle pose. So your left arm is going straight up to the sky. And your right arm is basically in line with your right shin and ankle. And then if you want, we're going to lift our back leg up into a half moon. So half moon, I'm going to use my block just to steady myself a little bit. So I'm going to put all of my weight on my right foot. My left leg is extended out and my left arm is up towards the ceiling or the sky. And when you're ready, we're going to land that back foot back again. Then we're going to lift the heel so that we're back in our crescent lunge. Lift your arms up above your head, and then we're going to windmill them to the ground. And then we're just going to go straight back into a downward dog. We won't do a flow here. And a few breaths. And then like before, you're going to walk your hands back towards your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up to the sky, hands to heart center and down. And now we'll do that sequence on the left side. So we're going to put our left foot forward into a nice crescent lunge. We're going to lift our arms up above our head and then open into a warrior two. So again, wanting to keep your left knee over your left foot. And then your right foot is in line with the short edge of your mat. And you want sort of your heel to line up with your arch or thereabouts. So holding that nice warrior, looking over your left middle finger this time. And then we're going to reverse our warrior. And back up to warrior two. And then reaching our arm over top. And then back up and reverse. And then back up and over. And then just do a few on your own pace. Getting a nice little rhythm of flow there. Excellent. And then rise up to your warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Bring that back leg in a little bit. And we're going to reach forward and then clocking our arm down. This time it's your left arm down, lined up with your left ankle. And then if you would like, and you want to use your block, you can transition into a half moon. Ooh, I'm wobbly today. So your left arm and your right arm and your right leg all the way up. I seem to be falling out on my left side. And then when you've had enough, you can put that back leg, your right leg back, and then we're back into a crescent lunge. And from here, we're going to land our right foot at a 45-degree angle. Our left knee is bent. And now our hips are squared forward towards the front of the mat. When we were in warrior two, they were open to the side of the mat. Now they're both facing forward. And then bend the left knee, and then raise your hands up nice and high into a nice strong warrior one pose. And then we're going to straighten the left leg, and we're just going to hinge forward into a pyramid pose, and definitely keep a little micro bend in that left leg because you don't want to injure your knee in this. And at the end of the next cycle, you can put your hands on your hips and hinge yourself back up. We can lift that right heel. So we're back in a crescent lunge. Move your block out of the way if it's there. And then we're going to windmill our hands down to the mat, step our left leg back into a plank, and then just lift back into a downward dog. And from here, we're going to bring our right leg up and bring our right leg through our hands, and then lift up into the crescent lunge. And just like we done on the other side, we're going to land the left foot at a 45-degree angle. Right knee is bent, and then lift your arms up into that nice, strong warrior one. And then we're going to straighten that right leg, hinge our way down. Excellent. Make sure you leave a little bit of a bend in that right knee. And then bring your hands to your hips, bring yourself up, lifting our left heel off. And then we're going to bring our windmill our hands down on either side of our right leg into plank. And then we're going to fold up into downward dog. And then we're just going to do that flow one more time. So let's bring our hands back to our feet. And then rise up into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then rise all the way up. Hands to heart center. So as you might remember, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to step forward into a crescent lunge, lifting our left heel off, arms up above our heads, and then opening into a warrior two. And this time around, feel free to do your reverse warrior and your side angle on your own pace. So we can sweep back and then forward and back and forward, back, and forward. Then after the next flow that you do, just come back to warrior two. Then as we did before, we're going to straighten that right leg. We're going to bring in our left leg a little bit, reach forward and down into a triangle, lifting our left arm up to the sky. And then if you'd like to experiment with half moon, you're going to put all of your weight onto your right foot and your right hand touching the ground or on a block, and then lifting your left arm up above the sky. And when you've had enough, you're going to go back into your crescent lunge, and then windmill your hands down. Step your right foot back to meet your left, and then fold back up into a downward dog. And then walk your hands up to meet your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center and down. And now we're going to step our left foot forward into a crescent lunge, lifting our arms up above our heads, and then opening into that warrior two. And again, do your flow on your own pace. So reversing your warrior and then extending the other way and reverse and extending and reversing. And one more time, side angle. And then up to warrior two. Straighten that left leg, bring the right one in a little bit. Lean forward and then down, clocking your left hand alongside your left ankle. Right hand up to the sky. And then if you want, you can transition into your half moon. And when you're ready, just step that right foot back into our crescent lunge. And you're going to land your right foot into a nice strong warrior one with right foot at 45 degrees out. So the warrior one is, I always find it a little bit more awkward than all the other ones. So don't be surprised if you go, this isn't really my favorite, Leanne. And then straighten your left leg, leaving a little micro bend if you need that for comfort. And then hinge forward into a pyramid pose. And when you're ready, just hinge back up, bending your knee into that warrior one. And then lift your back heel, windmill your palms to the mat. And we're going to just go back into downward dog. And then we're going to lift the right leg up, three-legged dog. Right leg comes through to meet your hands, lifting up into the crescent lunge, and then landing that back foot at 45 degrees into a warrior one. Hold those arms nice and strong up at the front, up the top. And then straightening that right leg out, leaving a micro bend, and then hinging forward into pyramid. And at the end of the next breath, put your hands on your hips and rise up. Bending your knee, lifting that back heel. And then we're going to windmill our hands down to the mat. Step our foot back to downward dog. And then slowly walk your hands back to meet your feet again. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up. Hands above your head to heart center and down. Now we're going to move into, let me just check the time. We're going to move into a few balancing poses here. So we're going to do something a little bit different for those of you who've been with me for a couple of weeks. We're going to go from chair to tree. I saw a sequence like this and I thought it looked really interesting to do. So we're going to start with our feet no more than hip distances apart. You don't want a wide stance on this, but I know that if you were to look at a textbook chair, they want your feet right together. I like having a little bit of space. And in my yoga, you do what works for you. So let's bend down into our chair position, reaching our hands above our head, and hold the chair for a few moments. Well, not moments, moments are long. A few breaths. And then bring your hands to heart center like we did before, but we're not going to do a twist. And then you're going to lift up. And while you're lifting up, you're going to bring your right foot up into a tree position. Now, tree, you can have your feet below the knee. You can have them above the knee. I'm most comfortable with it sort of just below the knee, but not on the knee, because that would hurt. And what you want to try and do is you want to have your bent knee out as far out to the side as you can comfortably. And you want to try and not let your other hip sort of sway to the side. It's hard. It takes a lot of muscles all working together at the same time to try and keep that straight line. So don't expect it to be a nice straight tree on the first day. And if you want, we can bring our arms up, sway them around. If you're feeling wobbly, feel free to just have your foot kickstanded at the ground. And if your hands were waving around, bring them back to the center. And then we're just going to bring our knee to the forward and lift it up high. And if you're feeling really steady, and if your left leg hasn't given out yet, mine's about to, feel free to straighten your leg out. Reach it out to the side, whatever's comfortable for you. I don't have a lot of flexibility in this pose, so I don't grab my foot, but if you have the ability to hold on to your big toe, go for it. And I think my left leg's had about enough. So I'm going to lower my right leg down and just shake out your legs a little bit. Excellent. Now let's do that on the other side. So lifting your hands up above your head and then sink down into a nice chair. Again, bringing your hands together, but no twist this time. And just enjoy it for a few minutes. Minutes, I don't mean minutes, few breaths. And then as you lift up, you're going to bring your left leg up into a tree. Now, as you can tell, I seem to be wobbling a lot on my right foot tonight. For whatever reason, right is wobbly. And if you want to raise your hands up above, go for it. Bringing your hands back down to heart center. And then feel free to bring your knee up. And again, if it's within your flexibility, feel free to grab your big toe, reach it out ahead of you. Next week, I might suggest if people have a strap, we can do some work with straps and trying to get more of that pose. I need a strap in order to get there. And you can bring your knee out to the left if you want. And when you've had enough, just bring it back down beside you. Oh, good work. Now we're going to do one more balancing pose for today. We've done warrior 1 and warrior 2, and we're going to do a bit of work on warrior 3. So coming to the back of your mat, and we're going to step our right foot forward back into that warrior 1 position. So your left foot is at 45 degrees, your right knee is bent, your hands are at your hips. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lift our back foot and we're going to put all of our weight onto our right foot. Now, in terms of if you want to grab onto furniture, or here I'm grabbing onto my door, go right ahead. My door's open tonight. You can have your arms in airplane, or keeping them on your hips, or having them at heart center. You want to try and keep your hips in line as much as you can. Try not to let the left hip go up, but it naturally wants to. So don't worry if it's going that way. As you just saw me do, if you wobble out of it, just come back when you're ready. And then let's bring our left foot back down to the mat. Crescent. And then let's just bring our feet together up at the front of the mat. Shake that out and just walk slowly to the back of the mat. And we're going to do that on the other side. So stepping your left foot forward, right foot down into your nice warrior one pose. Lifting your arms up and then bringing them to your hips. And then moving forward and putting all of your weight onto your left foot. And again, trying to keep your hips level. And it sometimes helps to focus your eyes on one particular spot. Oh, wobbly tonight. And when you've had enough, just bring that right foot back and then turn all of your toes to face the long edge of your mat. So we're in a nice wide-legged stance. And then let's just hinge forward, resting our hands on the ground or on your thighs or on your knees, whatever works. If you have one of your blocks nearby, you can rest your hands on a block. And let's just lift our left hand up to the sky. Nice little twist before we transition to some work on the mat. And then resting your right hand up. Excellent. And from here, you can just heel toe your feet in together. So you're in a forward fold again. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fold. And then I'm going to just pivot my direction because I was on the long edge of my mat. You guys probably were too. So we're now in a forward fold facing the short edge of our mat. And then just walk your hands forward into a nice downward dog. So just your feet back. And then just drop your knees to the mat. Your knees can be wide out to the edge or together. And just sink back into a child's pose. You guys have earned it. You worked hard there. Well done. Just enjoy 3 more rounds of breath in your child's pose. And then when you're ready, you can just come up to a nice seated pose. A nice seated pose on your mat. And then what we're going to do is we're going to extend our legs out in front of us. Both legs at the same time. I don't know if you guys can see. So like this. And then with our legs out in front, we're going to lift our arms up and forward fold. And just see where your hands get to. You may find one week you can grab your whole feet, and the next week you're grabbing onto your ankles or your calves. It's going to vary. And as we did at the start of the class, if you want to get a little bit of an extra stretch out of that, absolutely feel free to do it on your exhale. So I'm going to do a nice deep inhale. And on my exhale, I'm going to aim to go just a little bit further. And then after your next exhale, just slowly rise your way up. And then let's start by bringing the left foot in, kind of like we're in a seated tree. So your foot is alongside your right thigh. And we're going to do a forward fold in this position as well. So lifting your arms up above your head and forward fold. And again, I tend to grab my right hand on the outside of my foot and my left hand, I'm grasping onto my calf. And you'll probably feel stretches in a different sort of focus on your back because we have that left knee bent. And after your next exhale, just slowly bring yourself up. And then we're just going to do our little wild thing. So you're going to take your left arm back behind your left hip, and then you're going to press up onto this left knee and just stretch overhead. So you've got all your weight on your left knee and your left shin, and then on your right foot. Feeling a nice long stretch from your right toes all the way to your right fingertips. And when you're ready, just lower yourself back down. And bring your left leg out straight, and then bring your right knee in. So we can do that on the other side. So lifting your arms up above your head. And exhale, fold. And again, just notice how different it is from the other side. You'll probably find something feels different. On this side, my right knee feels tighter, so it's not as comfortable. Doesn't hurt, but I do notice it feels different. And at the end of your next exhale, rise up, and then we'll do that wild thing on the other side. So reaching your right arm back, and then pushing up on your right knee, and then your left toes all the way to your left fingertips. And then lowering back down when you're ready. And then what we're going to do now is, if you want to just transition down to your mat. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to lift our legs up into a tabletop position and just drop your legs to the left and reach your right arm out to the side and look over to your right. If you can keep both shoulders on the ground, you can do that. If you need to sort of bring your knees back up a little bit to keep your shoulders on the ground, go ahead and do that. If you're looking for an extra stretch, feel free to bring your right knee over top of your left. And then you'll just have a little bit more through the IT band, and then also through your shoulder a little bit. And then at the end of the next exhale, just bring your knees back up into table and take that on the other side. So drop them to the right, gazing over your left arm. Again, trying to keep both shoulders as close to the ground as you can. And if you're looking for extra, feel free to link your left knee over your right. And then coming back up, what we're going to do today that we haven't done in other ones is we're just going to do a bit of a waterfall pose. If you have a wall nearby, you can do legs up the wall. If you don't have a wall, like I don't because my doors are open, I'm going to use a block to help with this. So I'm going to put the block underneath my sacrum, just underneath sort of my absolute lower back. And then I'm just going to lift my legs up. I'm not aiming to keep them absolutely straight. I just want to have some vertical distance with my legs. But again, you can create this same pose by having these legs up against a wall and basically your bum right up at the joint of the floor and the wall. It's a nice feeling. Some people can stay in legs up the wall for like 5 minutes or longer. It can be a very, very nice, relaxing pose. You kind of let the wall do your work. Here, because I'm not against the wall, I have to do a little bit of work, but the block definitely helps. And sometimes I'll get to a point where I don't want my legs straight, and I bend my knees like this, and I just curl my feet over, and I'm still getting the benefit of just letting that blood drain out of my legs and just the relaxing feeling of it. Let's just do 5 more rounds of breath in this position, whichever one you chose. And then slowly bring your feet back down to the ground or slide yourself away from the wall. And then bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees knock wide into a butterfly pose. Your hands can be, you can have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. You can have your hands up above your head, grasping opposite elbows. And just relax. You've done all the work. There's nothing more strenuous to do in this class. I'm just going to let you guys rest here for a few moments, and then I'm going to guide you through our closing breathing exercise and then Shavasana. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a breathing exercise that I've been doing at the end of each class. It's a parasympathetic flow of breath. And I'm going to guide you through extending your exhale with each breath. So get yourself into a comfortable position. If it's lying down, you can stay lying down. If you'd like to be seated, if you'd like to sit on your couch, wherever you'd like to be, that's absolutely fine. But we will always inhale for 4, and I'm going to extend your exhale starting at 4 and going all the way to 8. And it should really hopefully bring some calmness, bring some stillness at the end of the class. Hopefully help take away any lingering anxiety or stress from the day. So when you're ready, we're going to get nice and comfy. And we're going to start with inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Now on your inhale, try and stack your breath. Try and fill your belly and then your chest and then your throat all the way up, and empty in the opposite way. So sorry, we're kind of starting again after I gave that description. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale from the top, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just let you rest for a moment, and then I'll let you know when it's time to bring some movement back. And bring back a little bit of movement to your fingers, to your toes. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Arms above your head, stretching your toes out. And then bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a nice hug. And then when you're ready, you can just roll to one side and then bring yourself up to a seated position. Or if you'd like to stay lying down, absolutely, you can go ahead and do that. And we'll bring our hands to heart center. I have a little closing thoughts for you guys. They'll be familiar to some of you. My wish for you is comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow the clouds, laughter to kiss your lips, sunsets to warm your heart, hugs when spirits sag, beauty for your eyes to see, friendships to brighten your being, faith so that you can believe, confidence for when you doubt, courage to know yourself, patience to accept the truth, and love to complete your life. Thank you all for joining me tonight. It was so nice to have you all here. I hope you can settle into the rest of hopefully a nice, relaxing evening. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you.